Good evening. Welcome to Grand Blanc Township Board meeting for Tuesday, February 20th. We call rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Robertson, would you please call the roll?
I would be happy to call the roll, Mr. Supervisor. Trustee Raridan?
Here.
Treasurer Kilmer?
Here.
Myself, of course, I'm here. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
4 members present, a quorum.
Thank you. And now we will entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. If somebody cares to make that motion. Dr. Reardon makes the motion, supported by Treasurer Kilmer.
Motion by Raridan, supported by Kilmer on the agenda. Trustee Raridan?
Yes. Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Kilmer?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Now we'll move to public comment. And we have Samantha Depp would like to say a few words. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
Welcome.
It's good to be here. It's strange to be on this side of the podium. But my name is Amanda Odette. I live at 4121 Cedar Lane in Grand Blanc. I wanted to come here and introduce myself and let you know that I am running for District Court Judge, Grand Blanc Division. Thought it appropriate to come in and say hi. And as you know, I live here in Grand Blanc Township with my husband, Mike Odette, and my 3 children. They are Liam, who's 13 now. Isla, who's 10, and Nola, who's 7. I've lived in Genesee County for about 16 years. I've practiced law in Genesee County since 2011. I've been a practicing attorney for about 18 years. I serve as the municipal attorney for the city of Burton, Montrose Township, Montrose City, Mount Morris City, and Genesee Township. And as you know, that entails ordinance prosecution, code infractions, representing the various boards and commissions and councils. Additionally, as a sole practitioner, prior to my municipal career, I've experienced criminal defense and election work, landlord-tenant matters, general civil matters at district court level. Needless to say, I spend most of my week in district court. Being a district court judge is something that I've been dreaming about for several years. And as you know, the Honorable Christopher Odette has aged out, so he will be ending his career in November. I hope to carry on his legacy that he's established on the bench serving our community. He's fair, impartial, expedient. He makes justice accessible, and I hope to carry that on. Your next judge should also continue to help make your community safe, and I hope to do that as well. I look forward to seeing you all again. I'll be back in the coming months as my campaign progresses. I just wanted to come in and say good evening and hello. Thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you for coming in. Okay, any other comments? Yes, please come forward.
I didn't know I had to fill out a card.
Wow, that's okay.
You would.
It's just for our record keeping, so it's.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
My
And we have Miss Sullivan here.
Right.
Good evening.
Hi. My name is Virginia Sullivan, and I'm interested in planting milkweed for butterflies. And I know the township and the city have a lot of vacant property. And rather than just go out there and throw the seed around, I'm wondering if I can get permission for someone to come in and maybe rototill. I'm not asking the township to do it, I just would like permission so that I don't, get any difficulty. So we can prepare the ground and do what we need to do. With your permission, we'd like to do that.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Ms. Roberts is sitting back there. If you want to, we can give her contact information to her, and we can be in touch and see if there's any spots that would work for that.
I was thinking particularly of Bicentennial Park, there's a lot of
Okay.
empty space there.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sullivan.
Thank
This is
you.
for milkweed.
Milkweed for the purpose.
Butterflies.
Butterflies.
Oh, very good.
The gentleman right there behind you, he'll make sure you get his card or contact information for you.
Okay, any other public comment this evening? Okay, seeing no further public comment, we'll close public comment, bring it back to the board. And I'll entertain a motion at this time for approval of the consent agenda. Motion by Dr. Reardon,
Motion by Raritan,
supported by Treasurer Kilmer.
supported by Kilmer. Very good. Let's see, Trustee Raritan.
Yes.
Treasurer Kilmer.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Okay, item 6, old business, the board will consider a motion to renumber resolution 24-6 to resolution 24-8. And, go ahead.
The reason for this motion is that a few meetings back, we had introduced 4 resolutions that we weren't sure were moving forward. And so they were numbered on the fly, basically, as we came through to see if they were going to be accepted during that meeting. Inadvertently, they did not make it all onto the resolution log. So we passed resolution 24-6, which needs to be renumbered to 24-8, so that may stay in sequential order. Doesn't change the resolution. You don't have to re-vote on the resolution. This is just a motion for our tracking purposes that resolution will be corrected, and we'll have the documentation to show that it was corrected.
I'll make that motion. Supported by
Motion.
Dr. Reardon.
Motion by Bennett, supported by Raritan. Trustee Raritan.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Kilmer.
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item B, under old business, the board will consider resolution 24-10 to adopt the updated poverty exemption and asset test resolution for 2024. We did have a brief meeting for a considerable amount of time. Dr. Reardon, myself, Shalina, Ms. Harrington from Sussing, to talk about the issue. And I believe that we decided that we want to take more time to deliberate over it and to look at the details of it before we made any decision. But we need to make a decision on this evening so that this can apply to this year's taxes. But go ahead, Dr. Reardon.
Last 2 weeks ago, we discussed that, and this turns out to be a lot more in depth than something that could really do in 2 weeks.
Right.
So, I suggested that we at least for next year, if we're on the board, put this on the agenda before, so we can address it then.
Exactly.
So I'd make a motion to adopt
Federal poverty exemption.
the poverty exemption as.
Motion by Raritan, and I'll support that, Mr. Supervisor.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Trustee Raritan.
Yes.
Treasurer Kilmer.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item C, strategic plan update, review of the SWOT analysis. Mr. Linda?
So back in January, I think, of 2021, the board embarked on their creation of their 4-year strategic plan for 2021 through 2024. Always kicking off the strategic plan, one of the first things you do is to do your strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats analysis. We have developed a strategic plan, and it's been very successfully pursued. The board has accomplished a lot of the strategic goals that they set for staff based upon that. As part of our staff meeting a couple of weeks ago, we had all of our department heads come in and take a look at the SWOT analysis to compare where we are today versus where we were in 2021, and to update that and then deliver that to the board, with the idea behind it being we went through and walked through and took what we saw were changes since 3 years ago, and we have both the original one in your packet and we have the updated one from our analysis in your packet. And we thought the board may want to take that opportunity to review it. You have 1 year left in this strategic plan. Next January, the board will again put a new 4-year plan together. But as part of that, you'll go through a new SWOT analysis. But as we wrap up your final year, I would like to point out that one of the things that we heard over and over, if you start off by looking what was in your packet and you take a look at your 2021 SWOT analysis, the strengths weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I think had been a very good job, staff coming together, the new board members coming together, and did a really nice job. But when you look at the weaknesses that were listed on that 2021 analysis, and I think the surprise for all of us, we expected to see that some changes had been made, but the length of our strengths has certainly increased, but the list of our weaknesses that were identified in the 2021 is cut down by about, 80% of those were removed as part of that SWOT analysis. And I think that just goes to highlight the effectiveness of this township board and their ability to take those strategic plans, to give voice to them, to give direction to the staff, and for us to carry it out. And again, comparing those two lists side by side, I think that any member of Wayne Township residents, businesses, or staff certainly and would be very impressed with the amount that you have turned around and turned those weaknesses into strengths or into opportunities, but they're no longer listed as a weakness. And I will tell you that as staff, as our administrative staff, department heads come together, we went through this thing, we're pretty critical, and Supervisor Bennett was part of that meeting, so he got to hear a lot of the conversation. We're hoping that you guys take a look at the list that we came up with. If there's any revisions after you've had time to review and study it, and you want to incorporate that into our final year of the 2021 through 2024 board strategic plan, be a good time to do so.
Yeah, I was privileged to be able to attend the meeting with their department heads, and one of my thoughts was looking through the list of accomplishments that together we've been able to accomplish, the departments as well as the board, is that people just don't realize everything that's been accomplished. And I know that our people work really hard, and we don't spend a whole lot of time telling everybody everything that we've done, but everything, you look at each department and what they've been able to accomplish over even just the last 2 or 3 years, and it's been monumental, some of the accomplishments. And so my only thought was, we got to figure out how to tell people all the great things that our departments are doing in innovative ways of saving money and providing more services for less cost. So we're going to look at how we do that, right? So, but no, I thought it was a very good analysis, and it was great to take a look at the strategic plan and just see how many things on our list we've been able to check off. There's probably a few new threats that we didn't have maybe 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and some more opportunities too that we didn't have. So we'll make some adjustments as we go along. Anybody have anything else? I'd encourage you to take a look at the list, and we can discuss it again at the next meeting if anybody has any suggestions, or email me or Dennis. Okay, thank you. And thanks to our department heads for a great job in helping us to accomplish a lot of these items. Under new business, the board will consider a motion to purchase of recreation management software from Civic Plus in the amount of $17,371.80, and authorize the township superintendent to sign all related contracts and agreements. Good evening, Mr. Cameron.
Good evening, how's everyone? So before you tonight is a request to purchase a new recreation management software. Currently, we are in contract with ActiveNet until November. We're looking to go in a different direction with a different software. This software is actually a module that is part of the Civic Plus family of softwares. Civic Plus we utilize for our township website and our agenda management software. Looking to streamline some of the processes that we have with a software that we already have in-house, so there would be some familiarity with that. This software we utilize for our facility reservations, pavilion, and senior center. Looking to add on league management for softball, baseball programs. So that's basically that in a nutshell. Any
Any question, Mr. Kimmer?
This will help us for scheduling for
Correct,
everything that you just
correct, yeah.
mentioned?
So for our programming that we have, programming reservations, facility reservations, scheduling for all the league management stuff, kickball and softball. So, yeah, it'll be the hub, the main software that we utilize for the Parks and Rec department.
Yes. Through you, Mr. Supervisor, do I take it that our current software lacks this capability?
It doesn't lack the capability, it is a cumbersome software. It has the capabilities that this software does, however, this one is a fresh new look. The existing software that we have, we haven't been able to utilize it as best as possible. It is kind of an older, outdated system that does have some issues here and there, and so we're just looking to go.
The customer service too, Matt.
The customer service, oh yeah, so the response time that we've had with Civic Plus has been phenomenal. With the old software that we have, there were times where we were going a month, 2 months, 3 months to get a response on issues that we had, bugs that we had in the system. So I think it's time to move in a different direction.
Well, and we, like you said, we use Civic Plus already with a number of things here at the Township. And so I imagine this will tie in with that much better than perhaps some third party.
Yes, correct.
I'll make the motion that we move forward with the software purchase.
Motion by Bennett and
Support by Treasurer Kilmer.
supported by Kilmer on item 7A. Trustee Raritan?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Kilmer?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Item B, the board will consider, thank you, ma'am. Will consider a motion to approve the Innovize InfoCare license and subscription renewal for $28,233 and authorize the township superintendent to execute all related contracts and documents. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Board. The resolution in front of you is to review some software that we use for our asset management and modeling activities within the DPW. It's for our water and sewer assets. Helps us model to understand how many REUs we have for the sewer system, and it's my understanding this is a software we've had for probably 6-7 years. And it's an annual renewal that comes up every year.
Did it increase much, do we know, or?
About $5,000.
Okay. All right, any questions? DPW Director?
I'll make the motion on item 7B, Mr. Supervisor, if I
Okay.
do you
Support
like.
by Dr. Reardon.
Motion by Robertson, supported by Raritan. Trustee Raritan?
Yes.
Treasurer Kilmer?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item C, the board will consider a motion to approve the dump body and snow and ice equipment upfit package quote from NAPI Truck Equipment for $165,892 and authorize the township superintendent to execute all related contracts, documents, and POs.
Good evening again. This is, so this resolution is for the upfitting of a cabin chassis that was purchased by the board about this time last year, around February 21st. And I'm gonna let Assistant Director Boggs speak about it.
So last year, former director Sears had forethought to purchase a chassis, international chassis, part of our capital improvement plan to replace a 20-year-old dump truck. The lead times in those chassis were like two years or more, and to get on the list, we needed to order it for our expenditure in 2024. So this is the second portion of it. We're getting close to receiving the chassis. Getting the upfit package is the final part to complete the truck, and this is a MyDeal quote through NAPI to deflect.
So just for the public, my deal is a bid process that's statewide to get the best price possible.
Cooperative bidding through
Yes.
the state of Michigan.
Nobody can compete with this price. Okay, somebody care to make that motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Supervisor.
All right. Treasurer Kilmer supports.
Treasurer Kilmer supports on item 7C. Trustee Raritan?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Treasurer Kilmer?
Yes.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Are we ever gonna have enough snow again to plow, or?
We don't want to jinx ourselves.
We'll pay for it some other time, Mr.
Yes.
Supervisor.
Okay, item D, the board will consider a motion to approve the reallocation of $2,667 in unspent CDBG funds to cover shortages in senior center operations.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
CDBG funds are federal funds that, we go through Genesee County for these funds. And so they give us a certain allotment of funds and we distribute them how we see fit. We have our public hearing and decide what we're gonna use these funds on. We have to do this well in advance, and this program, was something that was very difficult to administer, and we did not put enough money into the account for senior center operations. It's much easier to use these funds this way, and reassure us that we'll receive all of the funding. So, that's all this is, and they require this for us to do that.
Yeah. So this is for community development block grant money. I'll make the motion. There's support by Treasurer Kilmer.
Motion by Bennett,
Thank you.
supported by Kilmer on item 7D. Trustee Raritan.
Yes.
Treasurer Kilmer.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Thank you. Item E, the board will consider a motion to purchase a Cummins 250K kilowatt hour natural gas standby generator and an 800 amp and 1000 amp transfer switch for Township Hall from Cummins Sales and Service for $166,300. Authorize the Township Superintendent to execute all related contracts, documents, and POs. Good evening again.
Good evening again. So this is part of our capital improvement plan that we have slated out. This is a replacement generator for the Township Hall building. Currently, it's a diesel operated generator that's outdated. This new one will be it'll have new gas line, natural gas brought to it so that it runs off of that instead of having to have storage of diesel fuel, and it's gonna break down over time and different things like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Assistant Director Boggs speak again on some different things that they had planned before me.
Good evening. So part of this replacing this generator, this original one's from 1998 when the Township Hall was remodeled. I'm sure you remember that, Dr. Rita. So we've encountered when we've had power outages, the transfer is rough. So we've gone more technologically based. Our service, the brains of all Township Hall, or Township operations are at Township Hall. So when we do have a transfer, it's rough and we've had things go haywire offline and stuff. We want a clean transition. We want to be able to keep operations open, and then we don't have to worry about refueling to having a natural gas generator. We started going to Cummins generators years ago, and this will be another Cummins generator, which Cummins Sales and Service is a sole source provider of this generator, and they also service all of our township-wide generators.
Did they give you an idea of time frame?
48 to 52 weeks, so it's better. It's better than Chief Burdette's generator. We got the fire station 2. We just got it, January? We ordered it November of 22.
Yep.
So it's getting better.
Drain Commission, before I sit down, we've been waiting for the Carignan Water Authority. I think it's going on over 2.5 years.
I think it's ARPA dollar issue that everybody got all this influx of money in.
Well, the generators, they just aren't making them fast enough.
Right, exactly, can't keep up with demand.
Yeah, so I'll be surprised if we get that quick. But we should get one ordered anyways.
Yes.
So this-
Are you selling the old one?
I will put it up for auction. I think that's the plan. We'll put it up. We've got Fire Station 2's old one. We're gonna put it on Gov Deals and see what we can get for it. So that's the plan, so.
Okay.
Is the motion over, Mr.
Yes,
Supervisor?
Dr. Rudy makes the motion.
Okay.
Supported.
Raritan makes the motion, and I will support on item 7E. Trustee Raritan.
Yes.
Treasurer Kilmer.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item F, the board will discuss the superintendent's performance evaluation for 2023. All of the board members have received a week ago a evaluation form that was completed by, and this is pretty much standard procedure for our department heads as well. The individual fills out their evaluation, and our board, Mr. Lehman, we fill it out as well. And so this evening, we have the opportunity to go through that, and individuals have the ability to either request that to be done in private or at the meeting here. And I think Mr. Lehman is fine with us discussing it here in the open.
I'm absolutely good with having that discussion in the open, like I've done every year since I've been here. I think it's important for residents and taxpayers to know what kind of job I'm doing, what kind of job your superintendent's doing, so I've always done mine in open session. Just to encourage everyone to feel free to be honest.
So the board has, pretty much one employee, and that's the superintendent, Mr. Limita, and the other employees in the township are Mr. Limita's employees. And so this is an opportunity to discuss in public the great things that are going on. So how would you like to proceed, Mr. Lay?
Well, I think what I'll do is give you the results of the combined, I don't want to call them grades, but the opportunities to decide whether or not each category, there are 13 categories of Dennis's job performance, was unacceptable, needs improvement, good performance, or consistently performs above requirements. And again, and I'm happy to have this sound like a broken record, but he hit it out of the park again. There were 78 opportunities for a perfect score, and he was his harshest critic on those scores, and obtained a score well in the 95th percentile, 94, 95 percentile. All the comments were fantastic. One of the interesting things that, and one of the questions was asked to allow Dennis to talk about the changing requirements for the job, and he made an interesting comment, and he said that the one thing that remains the same is that everything's different. And I think that was demonstrated in some of the comments as well, where Dennis has shown an exceptional ability to adapt, in some cases on the fly. And again, we have continued to be the beneficiaries of that for his tenure here. And other than just giving you the fantastic box scores, I'll let individuals talk if you want, but I will say this. I know that when we were looking at candidates, when we switched over to the format of a superintendent, we had gone through a couple of folks that were trying to fill the position. And back then, and I think Supervisor Bennett, you can attest to this, we knew Dennis had a lot of potential, but in my wildest dreams, I didn't think that he would turn out to be this good and this helpful to Grand Lake Township. So I'm sure other board members feel that way, and if they have constructive information to provide, and I'll stand down and let you have the conversation.
Okay. I printed out a copy of the evaluation that I completed. If you don't mind, I'll go through a few of the points.
Go ahead.
So there's basically 13 categories that we rate superintendent on. Everything from quality of work to time management, cooperation and teamwork, leadership, internal, external communication, customer service, adaptability, innovation, and initiative. 8 is judgment, decision-making. 9, safety. 10, training and professional development. 11, fiscal responsibility. 12, financial management, future planning. And then number 13 is managing and supervising others. So just a few highlights, at least from my evaluation. I haven't seen the rest yet, but I'm sure we'll get a copy. But let's see here. Dennis uses his time very productively and is laser focused on results. You can tell that by the number of meetings he has each day, and he's here well after most of us are gone, so, if not everyone, except for police, right, fire, even now, yes. In terms of cooperation and teamwork, one of the things that I think Mr. Lima has done is hired some great department heads and great staff in all of our departments. It really makes a big difference in terms of the culture of our township staff when you have, when you surround yourself with good people, and that's very evident within all of our departments. With regard to leadership, I think, some of the words that come to mind: conferring, coaching, and leading his team to results, for the benefit of the entire township and meeting the goals of our strategic plan are some of the evidence of leadership. Internal and external communication, I think, communication with the board, the staff, the public are top notch. We've started utilizing social media and press release and other tools much more over the past 2 years. Customer service, I think customer service is number one. That's a culture thing Mr. Lima has emphasized from day one. And his department heads emphasize that as well. Really don't have to emphasize anymore just because it's part of the culture here. Treating every person with respect is something that's become, regular thing. It's not anything we have to tell anybody. Adaptability, innovation, and initiative. One of the comments I made was that Dennis is good at changing tires when we're going 55 miles an hour. It's, like any other leadership position, you have to be able to adapt and change and innovate. We've certainly done that, especially making it through COVID, and fearful that we were going to end up having to lay people off and figure out ways to make ends meet. But we made it through that, and even with, I think we just said that we just now came to the 2014 funding levels, right, Dennis? This past year or so. Just being able to do the things that we've done with revenues that were the same in 2014, or just getting to that point of 2014. And we know that no costs have stayed the same since 2014. Everything's gone up dramatically, so being able to innovate to be able to do that is critical. Judgment and decision-making. I think Dennis makes very sound decisions, and I trust him 100%. I think emotional intelligence and good judgment are just two of the qualities that I most appreciate of Dennis. You can hire somebody that has lots of knowledge and skills, but if they don't have those two things, you're not going to go very far. Safety, I think that's a number one issue for Mr. Lehman, and everything to do with liability issues, whether it's how do we make sure that we're not placing the township in a liable or a liability situation, whether it's out at the park or whatever it might be. Training, professional development. Dennis, encourages continuous learning and continuous improvement. I think that's a philosophy that carries throughout all our departments. Just a couple more here. Fiscal responsibility. I don't think there's any question as far as our fiscal responsibility that it's been a number one priority for Dennis and all of his team members. And this board, I know it's been a priority as well. But, through Dennis' leadership and this board's urging him on, we've saved tens of millions of dollars for taxpayers, whether it's paying down our unfunded liabilities, which is huge, what we've been able to do with the unfunded. I've been trying to search for a term that, other than unfunded liabilities, because it's such a passe term that I'm not sure we really understand. But basically, we pay down a credit card millions of dollars and save tens of millions in interest costs in the future. Financial management, future planning. Even you heard our SWOT analysis. I think forecasting into the future is never easy, but you look at our audits and our forecasting of revenues and expenses is within less than 5% difference. So we're phenomenal at doing that, and it's Dennis is doing in meeting with each individual department when it comes to budgeting alone, and that's a long process. Number 13, managing and supervising others. I think Dennis, to me, is more of a modern day coach than quote the manager. I think, manager is a term from the past that, I'm not sure always has good connotations, but, he works to bring out the best in people, and, those people who share the vision, great customer service, continuous improvement, going above and beyond. He brings out the best in those people. And he reaches out to those who may not share those goals too, to find ways to make sure that we're still exceeding our township's high standards. So those are just a few of my comments that I believe he's doing an exceptional job. And I agree with Mr. Laddie that, we found a great person to help run this township and help lead it. Anybody else? Yes, Robertson?
Here's what I'll say. You've done an extraordinary job, year in and year out, over the last 3.5 years since I've been here. I'm thoroughly impressed with your entire approach to the work and the work that you've done. Obviously, the board deserves credit and for the strategic planning that we've done and the goals that we've set. But you're here every day and as the chief administrator. As clerk, I'm in the building every day, as a full-time officer of the township. I've had an opportunity to observe Dennis in day in and day out. And I can't stress this strongly enough that I hope that this message gets out. I know I intend to. I know everyone here intends to make folks understand Grand Lake Township, how very well Grand Lake Township is being run right now. For the reasons that Supervisor Bennett mentioned, the chief among them, obviously, the millions of dollars we've saved in putting monies toward our unfunded liabilities, getting our fiscal house in greater order, and at times when it wasn't previously. As you've heard me preach constantly over the last 3+ years, if you take a look at the troubles that other municipal governments have at every level, every single one of them is driven by the same dynamic. The not meeting or setting enough monies aside for your pension and healthcare obligations going into the future. As a result of Dennis's focus on that and this board's support for that, the township is in extraordinarily better shape than it was just a few years ago, and we're going to continue in that direction. When you look at the economic development that's taken place and the kind of personal attention that is required of that, I give credit to Supervisor Bennett as the chief elected executive of the township, and to Dennis for his knowledge and awareness of the necessities of what's required to bring economic development here. I think that the development that we've seen on Baldwin Road, the execution of the improvements on Baldwin Road, and the economic development that's brought is clearly something that Dennis deserves credit for shepherding that through the township's processes and making sure that the township's interests are protected, but also providing opportunities for employment here. I can't stress it enough. I think things are going extraordinarily well, and I give all credit to my colleagues on the board, to Supervisor Bennett, and to Dennis for his very, very good work in the way he administers the township, the way he treats the employees, how the esprit de corps that he has established with the staff. The spirits are good, people are fired up, people are happy to come to work, they're doing good work day in and day out, and it's because of the leadership that you've demonstrated. So that's, kudos, A+ all the way around. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Dr. Reardon?
Yeah, I support all those comments. Without Dennis, and frankly, you, Mr. Supervisor, you're bringing all this business into town. I mean, it's a feather in both your caps because it's really quite amazing. Now, having said that, I'm going to be a stick in the mud here because it has something to do with judgment. He's a Packer fan. So,
Yeah.
other than that,
Well, the thing that I want to say is that it's real teamwork, and with this board that we have here, we've been able to accomplish so much. To have somebody that our board can put together plans and confer with their superintendent and say, hey, will this work? Can we get there? And I know I held Dennis to his feet to the fire when he told us, hey, when we're creating these plans, don't worry about, just look at blue sky and don't look at the dollar amount. So that came later, but we can't afford that. But no, we have a great team. It's teamwork between the board and Mr. Lemata. And I think having a strategic plan has helped us to stay laser focused on the things we need to be focused on. And it also helps Mr. Lemata and the department has to stay focused on what they need to do to be successful. And I think staying in our own lane, board and staff and department heads, it really helps us to move along without a whole lot of hitches. So I think I hope we can continue to do the great things that we've been able to do over the past 3 years. And I know we have lots more that we want to accomplish. We're well on our way to getting those done. So with that, if there's no other comments, we want to go into the board reports. Anything? We'll go into closed session to discuss compensation in a minute, I think. Dr. Reardon? Okay. Okay. Mr. Lehman?
So I'd just like to say thank you, first and foremost, thank you for your confidence in myself and the direction we've been going in. But I do want to shout out to our staff because while I get a lot of accolades tonight, none of that's possible without the staff that I have. And my leadership team with department directors and assistant directors, that leadership team is an amazing team, strongest leadership team I've ever had the pleasure of working with, which says a lot over my career. We have a truly amazing staff, and these people really do put Grambling Township first and foremost. But the skill set that we have, the desire for continuous improvement, to get things done, customer service level, to do the right things. It's just an amazing group to be associated with. So I appreciate all the accolades, but it's really that my administrative team and our staff that make that possible. The other thing is, I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. I mean, I've been on boards, I've worked for boards, I've consulted with boards, and I've served several. And it also makes my job a heck of a lot easier when you guys with all of, I've been working with boards since 1990, and this is the strongest board that understands boardmanship and governance that I've ever had the pleasure of working for and with, and so I'd like to say thank you for that, because if it wasn't for your leadership as a board, we wouldn't have anywhere near the success that we have, and I hope that continues, because it is election year, and it's like the strength, I hope that you've set an example for all future boards to come, that with your cohesiveness, your desire to do the strategic plan, to get the right things, to do the right things for the residents of this township. It's just inspiring, and the staff talks about it. It's not just me, but we talk about it in a group, and that hasn't always been true, but you guys have set an amazing leadership example. And so thank you for the kind accolades, but all those things have to come together for us to achieve the success that Grambling Township has had. And so again, if it wasn't all of us moving in the same direction, it's not possible. So thank you. But I really appreciate sometimes performance evaluations are a pain in the rear end to have to go through, and having this opportunity to sit and makes you stop and think about our success and what we've done. And so thank you as a board for taking the time to invest and provide me the feedback with your comments. I do appreciate it, and I do take them to heart. Go Pat.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, well with that, future agenda items, I think we're going to spend some time maybe at the next meeting with regard to branding and signage. I think we're doing a phenomenal job with branding the township, the logo, and we have even more things to update everybody on with that. Board reports, anything to report on, Dr. Reardon?
No.
Mr. Comer? Clerk Robertson?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, if I may for just a moment.
Yes.
We are in this room, of course, because early voting is taking place at this week. It started on Saturday, and we're in our fourth day. We have, up to this particular point, 110 people that have taken advantage of the early voting opportunity that now is required. And I'm pleased to say that everything is running like a top. I give credit to my deputy clerk and my staff for their good efforts, their great efforts in bringing everything off without a hitch. So, and I'm sure that will continue. Early voting continues until next Sunday. And then, of course, the presidential primary here in Michigan will take place on the 27th, on Tuesday, a week from today.
So the numbers that we've been seeing coming in to vote this week are actually building each day, it sounds like.
We started on Saturday with I think 24, 25, then we had 7 on Sunday, and then we've had, let's see, my report
Close
here.
to 40
It's been 45 today, and 45 voters today, 34 yesterday, and so it's been building, yes.
Right,
It's back.
which I understand we're more than 10% of what they have the county, so we're promoting it and people are showing up.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Supervisor, I'm happy to report.
Okay. I just want to mention, we are planning a cleanup day, Grand Lake Township cleanup day for April 27th, and we're working on that, looking for sponsors, looking for groups that want to help us, but our hope is to be able to get a couple of MTA buses, meet up at, I think, Faith Lutheran Church on the 27th, and then go out to various locations. What is it? April 27th, yeah. April 27th, and have a massive cleanup township-wide as far as picking up litter along the roads and the interchanges and what have you. So we hope that people will start putting that on the calendar. We'll have flyers and more information as we move towards that date. We did spend some time today, a group of us, with a company that's going to be bringing quite a significant investment to Grand Lake Township. We spent some time with Plastic Omnium, which is a French company that I thought maybe they just did hydrogen fuel cells, but they do everything under the sun. And we spent some time down at the M1 facility with them and their team, looking at all the various products that they're innovating, and some of them they'll be building here in Grand Lake Township. We probably talked about it before, but close to $200 million investment with, I believe, about close to 200 jobs. You're paying like $1,900 a week, so some significant jobs coming to the community, and those people will be looking for homes and restaurants to go to, and should help our township significantly. But it was a great day, spending time with them and seeing what innovative new products they're bringing. With that, Mr. Laddie, anything?
Nothing to add other than our closed session. Okay, coming up.
Mr. Lehman?
Yeah, the plastic omnibus, I know I get a few questions asked about it, and made the announcement. It's been a while, people want to know what's going on. I can tell you that we continue to have conversations every week with them. They have not submitted site plans yet, but a lot of that is converting from a European model to the US model, and we've got to get it right when we go to deliver it. It is, by the time they had all phases built out, we're talking about a manufacturing facility that's going to be 300,000 square feet, so it's a large facility. But I think, and you saw today, Mr. Supervisor, the lengths that this company goes to use renewable energy and carbon neutral, and just to recycle and reuse. Their entire focus is on it, and I think that's very commendable. We're going to have a 300,000 foot manufacturing facility here that's going to make these hydrogen fuel cells. They're not manufacturing hydrogen, but they make the fuel cells. But you think about the factory of the future. It's not a gray cement factory belching smoke. It's this gorgeous white gleaming 300,000 square foot. They've got plans for wind turbine. They use solar arrays for energy. It's really going to be a fantastic addition to Genesee County and Grand Lake Township. Very well paying jobs, and just the initial first phase, talking about 175 employees. That's huge for a commitment about being able to offer those kind of jobs here right in Grand Lake Township.
That is huge. In fact, I think that whole enterprise park would be close to 1,000 jobs when you add all those together, which is significant for the whole county, if the state. Okay, with that, I'm going to make a motion
to go into closed session, Mr.
Yes,
Supervisor?
pursuant to MCL 15.267A.
I'll support that motion, Mr. Supervisor.
To consider employee performance evaluations.
Okay, trustee Raritan.
Yes.
Treasurer Kilmer.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Supervisor Bennett.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes. We go into closed session at 6:50 PM.
Thank you, everybody.